As we all know, COVID really changed a lot of things, including something you might not think about, the landscape of some of the most serene and sacred Arizona desert. Arizona Game and Fish says during the pandemic, a lot of people were heading outside to go enjoy the desert areas, but a lot of them were in the off-highway vehicles.
Yeah, and while some were off-roading the right way, many people did not, and some are still not following the rules. Fox 10's Anita Roman, along with photographer Brian Kay, explain why it's having devastating consequences.
It's not a road, but that's not stopping hundreds of thousands of motorbikes, Jeeps, and four-wheelers from traveling down it.
Off-highway vehicles are, just like they say, the side-by-sides are referred to UTVs, like Polaris Razors, Can-Ams. There's different types.
Officer Micah White is the Off-Highway Vehicle Law Enforcement Program Coordinator for Arizona Game and Fish. According to the department, road proliferation is a major problem. Almost anywhere you look in the state, you can see new roads that have been created by OHVs. And AZ Game and Fish says once the tracks are laid, everyone follows.
If you go back to 2020, at the height of COVID and the lockdowns, we saw unprecedented use on the forest. It was a new group of users on the landscape, and these people, they didn't seem to know, they don't have a land ethic, they didn't seem to know that there were rules out in the middle of nowhere, that you had to stay on roads, that you couldn't drive like a maniac, that there are rules to riding these machines.
They run into cattle, you can't keep a gate together for more than less than a month, and then it's all twisted up and broken.
Andrew Perry works for a rancher in the Cottonwood Canyon area. Perry says gates, equipment, salt blocks for cattle are destroyed, found in pieces. Cattle have been hit and killed by speeding OHVs.
If it looks like this and there's so many people and no grass grows, you can't really turn out the amount of cattle to make money.
The destruction is widespread. This video, captured by a game cam west of Sedona in Bear Mountain, where Deanna Bindley lives.
The blatant disregard, the speeds, the recklessness. There are people 2 weeks ago right here on the main road ripping donuts right in the main road with people around and cars. It's absolutely disgusting.
Bindley says the noise from the machines is destroying the quality of life for residents in the area, terrifying animals, killing the habitat.
Probably the biggest problem we have with the OHVs tearing up and down our Forest Service roads is all of the dust that they create. These machines, even when they're going as low as, let's say, 20 miles an hour, they are creating very large dust clouds, and plenty of them are going 40 and 50 miles an hour. So we have a significant dust problem, and what's happening is that dust is covering all of our roadside trees, our juniper trees, and killing them.
So out here in the middle of nowhere, we don't have speed limit signs. And so people take that to mean that you can drive as fast as you want. And that's not the case. It's illegal to drive cross country where it's prohibited by rule. If you're driving cross country, that's a criminal violation. And if you're causing habitat damage, that's also another criminal violation. And if you're destroying native plants, you can be civilly assessed the value of those plants, and that can get really expensive depending on the amount of damage, the amount of destruction that you're causing.
White says cross-country travel is a misdemeanor criminal violation. If you're caught, you could be arrested or cited. Fines for cross-country travel range from $475 to $1,000, depending on where you are in the state. The cost of the fine can increase substantially if you cause habitat damage. According to AZ Game and Fish, a recent case was deemed a felony because of the severity of the damage, and the OHV rider ordered to pay $10,000 for restitution. AZ Game and Fish also says enforcement will only go so far, so they need the community and the riders to take responsibility.
Turn signal indicator.
That's where Jay Hoff, owner of Desert Dog Offroad, comes in.
Unlike traditional road driving, there really hasn't been any kind of training for people to drive off-road, but there is, a courtesy level of driving habits that should be adhered to out there, staying right on the trail, using moderate speed when coming around corners, understanding how a vehicle needs to get up a hill and down a hill.
Hoff provides maintenance for OHVs as well as tours.
Staying on the trails, staying to the right, being a cautious driver, being a good steward of the environment. These are all things that people should really conscientiously do so that we can continue to enjoy what we have here.
If this problem doesn't stop, then I think that the land management agencies are going to be forced to, impose closures, and that affects us all.
Officer White says Desert Wells has already been closed because of OHV damage, and more restrictions will follow. It might be the only way to save our land.
I appreciate this. I didn't think this was ever going to happen.
Land ranchers depend on, residents appreciate. Arizona Game and Fish wants everyone to enjoy Arizona's beautiful land, but will investigate reports of behavior that destroys it. Anita Roman, Fox 10 News.
In Arizona, all OHV operators are encouraged to complete a safety education course before they go out on the trails. This is a hands-on training for licensed drivers 16 and up, conducted by certified game and fish instructors. You can register and view the course on the website. We have a link to that on fox10phoenix.com.